on the race.
And the problem is, any truth is like a hidden nugget now.
Yeah.
So it's only for the curious, and we're living in the most incurious
Right, you have to
times.
search it out.
The news is a homework assignment.
Yeah.
Go look up these things and see what's true.
Try to find it. Well, some
Easter egg hunt.
some things are presented like a billboard in front of your face.
Right.
Things they want to project.
Billboard of bullshit.
A billboard of
Like
bullshit.
the 60 Minutes thing with Ron
Oh
DeSantis.
God, they do. And then they go. They're caught. They get caught. And then they're like, "No, we didn't get caught. What happened was," and it's more bullshit.
Yeah.
That they pump out. The people go, "Yeah, see, they didn't do that bad thing."
We edited that for clarity.
How do you edit for clarity? It's so Orwellian. It's beyond.
It really
Orwellian
is.
at this
It
point.
really is. Yeah.
Everything is beyond Orwellian. When who was the politician, the woman politician today that was talking about infrastructure? Infrastructure is healthcare. Infrastructure is because Biden's talking about the infrastructure bill, and then you look at it, and only a small fraction is for infrastructure.
Roads, bridges.
Right,
That's
roads, bridges, pipe, things like that. And this woman's like, no, infrastructure is childcare and this. And it's like,
No.
this is what, the 11th edition of the Newspeak Dictionary, remember?
Yeah.
Like the new edition. Yeah, it's out. Check it out. And they are literally doing what was done in Orwell's 1984.
Oh, he's an underachiever
This means
now.
this.
That book is
It's
on the
not
name.
far enough.
It's social infrastructure.
Yes, social infrastructure.
Not a thing.
Just another made-up
It means
name.
a road and a bridge. That's
I
it.
love it.
Well,
Infrastructure.
remember they did this with COVID too. They go, we have another public health crisis, racism.
Oh, yeah.
So let's allot some of that money.
That's a health crisis.
Racism makes you
Do we
sick.
get inoculated for that, too? Do they have a
Jesus
vaccine for
Christ,
racism?
You talking about racism is making me sick.
If it's a disease.
Every fucking day, all day.
And then I saw the cover of it. Oh, here it is. Paid leave is infrastructure.
No, it's not.
Child care is infrastructure. Caregiving is infrastructure. Yeah, Kirsten Gillibrand. That isn't. This is beyond Orwellian. You can't just say things and make it so.
Yeah.
Because you posted it on Twitter doesn't mean childcare is infrastructure. The Verrazano Bridge, if a piece of it starts falling off and a worker gets up there and bolts it back on, there, he's fixing the infrastructure.
Which I hear is a piece of shit, by the way. Not the Verrazano Bridge, but the Tappan Zee Ass Bridge.
Oh, the
Cuomo Bridge.
the new one, the Cuomo Bridge.
Yeah, I talked to some guys who work, and they go, the problem with bridges now is everyone is doing individual pieces, and there's no real master of cohesion.
Interesting.
And they go, that thing's fucked in 5
Isn't that how everything's built though now? Like
Yeah.
I think Airbus, they make the fuselage in England, and then in Paris they're making part of the wing, and then the tail is.
Well, didn't
taken
they
from
say
Spain.
recently, what was the plane accident where they go, someone had just sort of guessed. Oh, yeah, the pilot was hanging out the window, and they go, what the fuck happened here? And they go, well, the mechanics was like, looks like around this size bolt. And then he screwed it in, and it wasn't the exact. So they held him by the legs for like
That was the guy that was
30
flapped
minutes.
over
Yeah,
the
yeah. And he's
top
just
of
like,
Could you imagine the horror? You think
I'm going to die.
you're so going to die?
And then he was fine.
Yeah. How did that work? They had to hold his legs in, or he would have just flown off at a few hundred miles
You
an
seem
hour.
always very fascinated with planes. Do you wish
love
you
it.
had been a pilot or involved in aviation?
Yeah, aviation, things like that. I took one of those introductory flights in a Cessna when I was in my teens, and I loved it. It was really fun. They let you take the controls for a couple of seconds, doing nothing. You're just straight flight. And they give you a rundown, and it was the cost. I just couldn't afford it.
And then someone said, I could all pay you to $3 million to make fun of porn stars.
And I said, yeah, let me do that. I'll take that.
I'll just
and then
play video games.
I'll sit in first class while I fly to a casino. I like that better, actually.
Talk to the pilot at the VIP lounge.
I often think about, like, I was just too, I was afraid. I was afraid of leaving the nest area. Not so much literally mom's house, but, my family and friends and that whole thing. And when I'd hear people went off to the military to do things, I would be like, how do you do that? Oh my God. Like, I would get anxiety thinking of other people leaving. The first time I really, aside from going to California, but my dad was there and I had visited, so I knew people out there. It wasn't like I just up and went somewhere by myself. The first time I really did was in my mid-30s going to Massachusetts, to Boston, to get a job in radio. But yeah, I often think you know, you try not to regret, but I do wonder if I did have more of an outgoing, brave spirit to leave familiarity, if I would have done something like that, because I have been
They
fascinated.
say that's what made America great was grit and mobility, where they'd hear, oh, there's a, you know,
Right across the Mississippi.
there's a gold rush.
Yeah.
Go, and
It's
they'd all
only
go.
3,000 miles away,
Or,
and
we're
there's
gonna open
Indians
a
and
restaurant in Chicago. It's a Chinese restaurant. We'll have to learn how to make Chinese food.
right. Yeah.
So just figure. My dad.
I bet those ancestors are
I think it
mad they
might
went to
have been
Chicago
blues
now.
related, but you got a job offer in London, and you said, all right, I'm on my way. And then you got a job offer in Canada, and you're like, let's do it. Maybe you were just
Let's do it.
No, no. I was actually, we were bored in England, working in England. We thought we'll take a year off and I'll work abroad. And I applied
work
for a-
abroad. You were married.
See, abroad means something else, Gavin.
Oh,
It could mean, yes,
I didn't know that.
overseas,
Oh, okay.
out of your country.
Okay.
I applied for a job in Canada and applied for a job in Holland, and the one in Canada came through first. And after a year in Canada, I thought, well, I'll just stay here. I'm not going
So
back.
wait a minute.
Amazing.
You were born in London, and then you went to
Bored.
suburban Ottawa, and you went, now this is fun.
Here's some excitement.
Now we're partying.
Well, I wasn't in London. I was north of London, in a small town north of London.
Which was more boring than Canada.
Yes.
Which is Tommy
Wow.
Robinson's turf now.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
How's
Well,
he
we-
doing? Jeez.
I don't know, spending what, a year and a half in prison for the same charge twice, which was contempt of court. He's still
Yeah.
fucking going.
It's amazing. I'm stunned.
He's a beast. He was
Yeah.
adopted. I don't know what his real dad was. I want to find out. His parents are Scottish, actually. His adoptive parents.
Okay.
And the guy is just relentlessly fighting,
Yeah.
and he just can't be knocked down.
That's some dedication.
He's incredible, and he's like I think I blame him for making me focus too much on the Muslim problem in America. I don't think it's that big of a deal here.
I don't think so anymore. And maybe, again, that's maybe the influence of
9/11
media.
wasn't great. Don't get me
It
wrong.
wasn't. 20 years later, though, what are you going to
Yeah,
do?
they're 1% of the
Things
population.
happen.
No, we have bigger
Some people
problems.
did some
The
things.
culture wars are way bigger.
Yeah.
This love of socialism from our youth.
Yeah.
Shitty teachers brainwashing our kids. I mean, I think K through 12 and the way those teachers talk to our kids is our number one problem.
It really is, because they're influencing what these kids are going to grow up to think. And
My son, Johnny, when he was 4, maybe even 3, he goes, I hate Donald Trump. And I go, why?
3.
And he goes, he doesn't listen. Like, no 3-year-old's ever known who the president was
Right. Yeah,
for
that's
the past
true.
1,000 years. And now you hate Donald Trump, and that's his fucking
Because
cunt.
he doesn't listen. You're 3. You don't listen. What 3-year-old is
And isn't it
a little
cool
hypocrite?
not to listen? Why is
Yeah.
that a bad thing?
Badass.
Yeah, he's a bad boy like you.
Someone should give him a spanking.
Yeah.
It really is criminal what's going on in the schools. The parents really don't have much of a say over it.
Oh,
either.
no. Well, in Canada, we were talking about that dad who can't prevent his child.
Oh, absolutely outrageous. So it's now I got confused. I think it was a boy. Yes, this boy who was going to change to a girl,
Oh, magic.
and the father's fighting it,
magic.
but they're giving this child all these curious drugs, to block puberty,
Uh-huh.
and they've no clue what the long-term effect is going to be. And as Gavin said, I mean, I know it's true, there's an incredibly high proportion of these kids, when they go through puberty, commit suicide.
Yeah. Yeah. First of all, how do you know before you go through puberty that you're going to still want to be a girl? All of a sudden, a lot of different things, hormones and whatnot, are released, and you could go like, God, I can't believe I even thought like that. I love,
Especially when you don't
Broads.
know what a faggot is.
you know.
You're a faggot.
Well, you know what a faggot
Suck
is,
some
but it's
dicks
different.
and call me back.
It's the kid that wouldn't throw the snowball at the car driving by the schoolyard.
Well, that's a pussy.
Don't be a faggot. But then when you learn what it really is,
But I want to say to all these kids who want to chop off their dick, go put on some red leather shorts, turn 18, and dance around the West Village sucking dicks for 5 years.
there you go.
Then call me, and I'll happily cut it off.
Is that the new
right then.
apprenticeship? Is that the new program where you have to go through that before you're able to step up? At least they got a criteria now.
A lot of people deny homosexuality. I think that's nuts, where it's conversion therapy and all this stuff.
Yeah.
No, there are fags.
I think there are, but I think I think the vast majority of people that think themselves as gay are in it for the lifestyle. I think there's a perversion. I think there's an excitement in the attention that you get, the camaraderie.
Sure, saying you're trans and all that, but like guys who are 40 and have been sucking dicks for 20 years in Chelsea,
they're gay.
they're gay.
They're gay guys.
Yeah, they're
and then
gay
you can
guys.
see
Thank
there
you.
are some times where you're walking down the street and someone just doesn't even have to be flamboyantly dressed or anything, but you can look and go, that's a gay guy. Like there's some weird vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Or something.
We've been around for 250,000 years. We can tell